Yeah. I find it so fascinating that also when you share this, like talent is evenly distributed and opportunity is not like it. For a lot of people, including people who call themselves progressives, quote
Mhm.
unquote, this is what they would want, right? Like have equal opportunity for anyone. Perhaps get to a real meritocracy, where people who do the best at their job, whatever it is, they get rewarded the most. And while and also in the book, you have a strong case for deflation and lowering the cost through technology. It's generally viewed though like a bit negatively, right, in economic circles. But like, why do you think people are so against
Because,
this? Is this yeah?
because they haven't done it at the first principles, nor understood. I would say, in what I watch, very few people think in first principles. Very few people think in second and third or fourth order effects of changes.
Yeah.
In other words, they're predicting the present forward.
Yes.
They're not predicting the future because of that. To predict the future, you have to really think in first principles. You have to understand human action, and when something changes benefits so greatly, what do people do as a result? And then what's the corresponding action of the existing system? What does it do? So if you just think if this is imposing prices fall the marginal cost of production, and we have exponentially increasing productivity, that it's imposing that reality on the world protected by energy. As long as it stays decentralized and secure, everything I just said is inevitable. It's repricing the world versus the other way around. But people won't believe that, and they'll price it from their existing system, and they'll give more power to it. And so what would the existing system do as more and more people leave to build on the system of truth, hope, freedom, in the existing system? What would it do? So remember, the existing system, government gets bigger and bigger, and people say, those people. It's only us. There are no those people. There is no they. It's us. It's only us.
Yeah.
And so as more and more people move to the honest system and transact and move more benefit there, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger through the network effect on the base layer, people holding in self-custody, and the network effect on layer 2, more and more value accruing there, and it's the incentives are better there. More and
Yeah.
more people move.
Yeah.
And then what would the existing system do? Print money faster? And so as it prints money faster and destroys people within the existing system, more people move.
Yeah.
And what would it do then? Print money faster and less base. So this will take a long time to play out. But people don't realize how much power they have into just tuning out of the existing system that is based on a lie.
And
And
to illustrate that, like, what is your timeline there then? How
so
far do we have to zoom out?
so when people ask me this, I'm actually honestly confused by the question. And
No,
I'll tell
like
you
I
why.
don't want
No,
a
no.
year, right?
But I'm actually honestly confused by the question
Hmm,
and I'll tell you why. My my lake house cost $1.4 million 3.5 years ago, and it cost 300 Bitcoin. My lake
yeah.
house cost $2 million this year, right now, and it costs 50 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So people are waiting while it's happening.
Hmm.
It's just so. In other words, I'm already living in the future, and other people, and so a lot of people thought
Like we
that
can go to the future now, right?
exactly, everybody
Yeah.
has a choice right now to go to the
Hmm.
future. So a whole bunch of people around my lake house, and all those people think their house just went up $600,000.
Yeah.
And what really happened? It fell by 250 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's going to continue, and it's going to continue forever. So it depends what world you want to measure in, and all of the war and divide and everything else that we see out of the world today is a result of the system that we live in,
Yeah.
that people are giving more power to. So when, right now,
Yeah,
like,
that is
it's
that's great because I wrote down another question because you also talk about what the generational impact of adopting something like Bitcoin could be, and we hear Greg Voss say we do this for the kids a lot, and I wanted to ask you like how can we influence the future by acting now? But the answer is act now.
act now. Just start,
Yeah.
like, spend more time here. Spend more, and your. I keep saying this. Your impact, every one of our impact, we matter. We touch people with your voice. You matter. So if you want to spend more time in the existing system, yelling at that system, you're impacting it. You're making it stronger. If you want to spend more time in this system with people that are building this new system, you're impacting it, making it stronger. And so spend more time in the new system, you'll be happier.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, obviously. But I do also understand that it's hard for people who are in the current system and maybe are doing the work or are total oblivious, right? Like how does one start, right? Like is that just saying enough is enough when you buy a banana for $5 or
Yeah. So I can't tell you so that's why I wrote the book, because I knew people couldn't see this. And I figured by tying it to technology, to they could understand how fast technology was moving in their lives, how much abundance it was trying to give them. They would start to question some of the other things. Why does the world look like this? So to me,
Yeah.
asking questions, or starting where somebody is trying to solve their own problem, meeting them where they are, is the place to is the place to ask the question instead of telling somebody. So
Yeah.
when somebody can explore what for them, why, when they can come to the conclusion themselves, then it sticks. So people don't want to be told.
Yeah.
They typically fight back against being told something.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think like 6 months ago, I really understood that I should switch from telling to asking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What's the most compelling like counter argument that you've heard against these views, and how do you respond to them?
I haven't heard one yet.
Me neither,
Honestly,
so I
yeah.
wanted to
So
check with you.
I haven't heard. I did a debate with
George Gammon.
George Gammon the other day on Peter McCormack, and 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 by the way, I like George a lot, but he's looking through the system of the past, or I suspect he's looking through the system of the past, and he says human nature will keep it there. Well, my question is how. How would human nature keep it there? Because by voting, so if human nature says, I'm going to vote for more manipulation of money, Bitcoin doesn't care, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that system will fail faster, but Bitcoin keeps on imposing the discipline until people realize they can't fight with it. It's an honest ledger that it keeps on posing that discipline. So, well, there's some interesting kind of inside those arguments why people have their own beliefs. I haven't seen one yet that counteracts what I just said about if it stays decentralized and secure,
Yeah.
that ultimately it's repricing everything else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm open to the fact, if somebody wants to, why I keep saying if is for two real reasons. It's not that I'm worried about it one iota. The first reason is I want people to try to attack it in that vector, to be able
Yeah.
to say, so they can understand how decentralized and secure it is. And the second reason I say it is that by running a node, you probably run a node, I run a node, and everything else, that I would have to act in against my best interest to change it. And so
Yeah.
call it the hundreds of thousands of other node runners that are all private behind Tor networks and everything else all over the world would have to do the same thing. And so I try to say, why I say if too is to push on there to say, how would we have to be tricked to be able to go against our self-interest, and to keep
Yeah. Yeah.
to understand that that's probably the only attack vector.
Yeah. Yeah. I would recommend everyone to actually listen to that episode. I really enjoyed it. And I also thought it was interesting that, a lot of your rebuttals were the same all over again, right? Like, as you said, if it stays decentralized and secure, then it will just stay as is. And I agree that the answers of George, or perhaps anyone looking at it from the other system, now that I think of it, is interesting. It's like it's an abstract answer, abstracted on another abstraction,
Yeah.
right? And basically, George says that we cannot trust ourselves, and that's why we will follow these people who will, point to a bad guy or give us free money or whatever. But it's so interesting because that's the entire point of Bitcoin. The protocol, in my opinion, is the realization that we cannot trust ourselves, which is fine. That's why we have a protocol that just is, and you have the choice to adopt it and follow the rules or not, and you stay in a system where you follow the rulers, right? So actually, when you look at it from George's point of view, we cannot trust ourselves. That's, I would say, cementing the Bitcoin thesis in a sense.
So that's actually what I see. Like, even his arguments were, in other words, you're going to have less and less people that are going to be able to trick in the existing system, and
Yes.
over time, it's going to transition, and more people are going to see that the system based on rules that can't be fucked with,
Yeah.
imposes that. Now, why.
Yeah, you cannot trick because you have to prove, right?
Exactly.
Like in Bitcoin, you have to prove. Like there's no tricking.
He's right. If you could make it non-decentralized and secure, or you could create paper Bitcoin everywhere else, he's right. The humans will do that, and they'll do everything they can to try to take power. In fact, that's what Ethereum